Hey everybody, welcome back. Better late than never. It's a few days past the show came out for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 12, The Key, but we are here. And as in, you can probably already tell, I am sick. Ironically, not the reason why we're late this week. There was just a lot of different reasons for that, but this was a great episode this week. We did not want to miss a review for it. As usual, I am here with Jason.
Hello.
So I hope you like Jason's wonderful voice because he's going to be doing the majority of the talking this week because I am sick as hell. I am mushmouth over here. So, Jason, why don't you go ahead and I'm gonna start with the first question. Go ahead and tell us, what did you think of this week's episode?
I liked the pacing for it. It was very action oriented, which, like you and I talked about before the beginning, I enjoy the season overall very much, but it's been pretty heavily plot and dialogue focused. There's been some great action scenes to break it up, but it's good to see a solid episode devoted to just, balls to the wall action.
Things happened.
Yep.
The ball moved, and things happened this week.
Oh, yeah. Big stuff rolling. Super excited. I think we are seeing the beginning of the end for Negan here.
Well, we certainly saw Lucille take some damage, that's for sure. I loved this episode. This is my favorite episode of the season so far. And to be quite honest, I think just from what you said and what I said, I mean, we had a lot of plot progression. A lot of things that have been building up came to a head or starting to come to a head this week. I mean, we had a showdown between Rick and Negan and some zombies thrown in between. It was I enjoyed it. Great amount of action, great amount of plot. Overall, I really enjoyed it.
New characters?
Some new characters, absolutely new characters. New characters for myself as well. From a comic book standpoint, I don't know who the hell those people are.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, is it just me, or did you get Milge confused with Elizabeth Warren? Right? They look exactly the same.
Jesus. Well, I suppose they do. Yeah, that was interesting though. I if you're talking about the new group that we met out of the van.
Oh yeah.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, what'd you call her?
Midge or Milge? I forget.
Okay, I don't even remember the name.
It's something like that.
Interesting scenario. I don't think they're living out of that van, but they're. I mean, just an interesting group of people to meet. Like, we're passing along knowledge, and it's actually some really useful knowledge too.
Yeah, I'll be interested. That book definitely is going to come up again. It'll be interesting to see how that plays a part in future seasons.
Well, I think it'll be a literal situation where you'll see these things. You'll see the windmills and you'll see the water systems and all that. You'll actually see these things in them in all the communities using these books to get along.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, if this technology ends up getting, twisted or perverted in some way. Yeah, because everything's got to be weaponized.
I did not think of that. All right, what else you got from your notes this week?
All right, so Rick's big car chase. You want to talk about that right off the bat?
That was awesome. Let me I'll just say that. Yeah, it was good. It's like out of nowhere. It's like, whoa, we are getting a Negan and Rick showdown, and it started with that chase, and it did not end there.
No, it did not. Although it was a ridiculous amount of gunfire for absolutely no payoff.
For a cop shooting, no less.
Yep.
Someone who we've seen has a pretty damn good aim.
Yeah. So that was a little disappointing, but it was a good scene overall. Like I definitely enjoyed the whole thing very much.
And still, and probably be a staple for the show, Walking Dead has the worst gunfire CGI in the game, or in the game on television.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. So, do you think Lucille's just taken some damage, or do you think they're out?
Oh no, yeah, Lucille's got a long ways to go yet. There was so much shit on Lucille that you get the barbed wire, you get all those blood and guts.
Yeah.
I probably that getting set on fire where Lucille did probably didn't do a whole hell of a lot. It's a bat. I mean, they're practically invincible.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't really think of it that way.
I did notice though one thing I want to bring up, one complaint. After Negan crashes his car, I mean in the passenger seat, he had a bucket full of walker guts.
Oh, they didn't spill.
It should have been all over him.
Yeah.
Here's another time where it's like, oh, well, they should be dead or dying, and
yeah,
where's that bucket of walker guts? A little interesting.
Yep.
Little convenient.
Yeah, and then we had the other main thing going on with the Saviors was Simon going full genocidal maniac and dragging Dwight with him.
Well, and so we talked about that last week. Dwight's motivation is for Negan to be dead. So it doesn't shock me that he would seriously contemplate what Simon's telling him. I'm loving Simon more and more, though. I mean, he's just a great character. He's a great actor. I just enjoy watching him. And every time he's on screen, he's more and more of a shit.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Like you said, I love the fact that they're just doubling down on his character flaws. They're not trying to redeem him in any way. They're just doubling down on what an asshole he is.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I love that.
Yeah, I still think that he was the original leader of the Saviors, and Negan took him over, and I think that's probably where a lot of this animosity comes from. Again, Simon is a character that was never in the comics, so I really enjoy this aspect. He's a completely new addition to the whole story, and he's been a great one.
No, and watching what's going between him and Negan, your theory seems to be holding more and more ground, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, what else you got for your notes?
Speaking of Negan, Jadis showed up at the end, holding Negan at gunpoint.
Yeah. What the hell's gonna happen there?
Well, I see this one of two ways. Either Negan's going to convince Jadis that Simon went off the reservation, and he's going to have himself a very interesting ally, or Jadis is going to end up, if not killing Negan, definitely wounding him.
Well, one of the theories I heard is that she's going to take him to Rick and try to use that as leverage to be part of his group, because at the last time they spoke, Rick had said that you can do nothing for me, which was a big part of their relationship from Jadis, was, what can you do for me, what can you do for us, and that's part of why he said that when they left her at the garbage heap. So I think that might be the plan. I don't know if she cares enough, though, about that. Maybe she just wants to torture him. I don't know. She's freaking crazy. So, she lived in garbage. So, who knows the mind of people who live in garbage?
That's true. But, no matter what happens, I'm sure it's going to be a good time. Well, not for Negan, but...
Well, half the time it's a good time for Negan anyways.
That's true.
He says he tries to save people. He says he doesn't enjoy these things that he does, but he does.
Oh, without a doubt.
That was the whole thing. Like, he woke up from being unconscious and just a big smile on his face. Just for the scenario he's in, the situation he's in. He loves drama like no other.
He's very much addicted to that high. He's like the zombie apocalypse version of a Daredevil. He's just continually putting his life in danger because that's where he finds his thrill. That's where he gets his high.
The zombie apocalypse version of Daredevil. I love it. How do you think Daredevil would do in the zombie apocalypse?
I think Daredevil would not do great because most of his stuff is based around like sound, but with a zombie, like they got the moaning, but their movements aren't exactly the way that you think they would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they move so sluggishly and slow, and they don't make a lot of noise sometimes.
Yeah, and anybody who's a hand-to-hand fighter is already at a disadvantage when the threat at hand excels at melee combat.
Daredevil would definitely be a zombie.
Yeah, without a doubt.
All right, what else you got in your notes?
Just the stuff about the book. The hilltop. You want to talk about the hilltop and the prisoners?
Let's talk about the hilltop.
Alrighty. What do you think of how they're approaching the prisoners this week?
Maybe I missed it. I didn't see anything significant this week about that. I think I saw some of them actually out and about under guard. See,
that's what I'm talking about. You remember last week where Maggie was still, even with her sort of change of heart, she was still keeping everybody under gunpoint pretty much all times. But now they're out and about.
Mm-hmm. An interesting dynamic this week with the Hilltop as far as what certain members of the cast were thinking about considering doing with that group.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Throw for someone else to throw on the shit pile who's a little shit. Enid is a little shit.
Yeah, as soon as the episode was finished, I knew you were going to go on Enid. I knew it.
Enid and Simon just need to hang out together.
They do seem like a match made in heaven.
It would be interesting to watch and place bets on who's going to screw over the other first.
Yeah. Well, I guess that sort of reinforces that there's always one in every group,
All right. Silence. All right. Sorry, I'm too sick to keep it going. What else you got?
That's pretty much everything that really stuck out to me.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
One thing I loved was like the confrontation between Negan and Rick when Negan's like, "Oh, you're out of bullets," and Rick just pulls out the hatchet and he tosses it. And he's like, "I got one more thing to throw at you." Just the interaction overall, those two are just great rivals overall. I mean, they really draw a lot of good stuff out of each other. Outside of the characters, the actors just work really well together.
Yeah, definitely, and they've had great chemistry since day one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why this season in particular has been so good, is because it's focusing around those two.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even though we didn't have everyone actually playing parts in this episode, the group is basically all together again. That was nice. That felt different. Although it was kind of weird how we just didn't see certain cast members this week.
Yeah, well, and they split up again. Rick sent Daryl off with a couple of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a little weird how we just like people who have been important to the story thus far just kind of didn't show up.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think that's going to do it. Again, I would definitely be talking a lot more, except for I'm sick as hell. I know I sound ridiculous, and I fully expect people to make fun of it in comments. But speaking of which, let us know what you thought of this week's episode. Well, actually, before we go, let's see, we got to rate it between 1 to 5 flaming baseball bats. What would you give this one, Jason?
5 flaming baseball bats.
I love
this episode.
You're saying this is the tippy top. They don't get much better.
No, this was like episode 1 for me in levels of good.
Oh, wow. I give it a 4.5. I'm not quite there. When it comes to the bar and it comes to great Walking Dead episodes, it might even be top 10 material. But when I think about the number 1 episode that, to me, which is the season premiere of season 3, can I put it on that level? No, I can't. I just can't quite do that.
Yeah, well, you're also much more critical, I think, than I am. Like you have very you're much more particular about where you place stuff.
I like my things in certain ways more so than you.
That's true.
Okay.
I see gunfires and flaming baseball bats, and that's always in my top 5.
Oh, speaking of which, speaking of that again, I thought the element of the walkers in that episode, or in that fight scene in particular, were done really well. They added, I think, an appropriate amount of extra danger to the scenario. You know,
they didn't feel out of place.
No, well, no, they certainly didn't feel out of place. You know, it is funny. You know, people complain about this show, and yeah, do I really think either of them would have really gotten bitten? Probably not. But still, here we are in season 8, and I still had a little bit concerned that maybe something crazy was going to happen with those walkers. So, yeah. All right, yeah, I give it a 4.5. You give it a 5, and all right, that's going to do it. Everyone else, let us comment. Let us know what you think. Comment on my stupid voice this week. All right, so that's going to do it for us. This is Mushmouth saying see you next week. And anything else? Any last words, Jason?
No, just good night and good luck.
All right. See you guys later.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything to go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but it'd be great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.